I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledged knowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena on. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasting like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's your number one chief rockin' Knicks universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy, and welcome to the premier Knicks in the Nighttime show, the Knicks at Night podcast. Salute, salute, salute. Yeah, y'all, starting a little bit later. My apologies. I'm still here, want to rock, you know what I'm saying, get this show in. Talk that talk the way that y'all like to have that talk to y'all. Salute. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights is in the building. Salute to everybody in the chat. That's, you know, you're in the chat, you're watching, maybe not commenting. Salute to y'all. Thank y'all for coming through. Salute to all our people on X. Man, salute to all our people on YouTube. The social media star Andios is in the building. Salute, salute. So while I have this joint to myself for a little while, what I want to talk to you guys about is the Eastern Conference and how tough it's going to be. Right? So the RM of the Kings, the ribbiest of all the Kings, RM is in the building. Salute. Salute, salute. Hey, y'all, while I have your attention, before I start talking about this Eastern Conference Gauntlet, let me remind everybody that our goal is to reach 4,000 subscribers by the end of the calendar year. That's our goal. And so if you can help us get there by sharing with others, letting everyone know, that's our goal. Generally, we don't set numbers goals here. Generally, it's all about you guys. Generally, it's all about you guys, right? It's all about you guys. What you guys want to talk about. How long you want to talk about it, right? That's generally what we do. But for the sake of long-term growth and health of the channel, we're asking if you guys can help us get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We think it's an attainable goal. We want you to help us get there, and we know that you can do it. We know that you can do it. Salute to all the members of the channel. Salute to Michelle. Michelle, what's good? Latrell Sprewell, the American Dream, is in the building. Salute, everybody. Salute. Hope y'all are having an awesome night so far. Fritz Alcindor is in the building. Salute to all my Caribbean brethren. Jaden, what's good, man? Salute to y'all, man. Salute. Before I put the link in the chat, man, I want to speak to the Eastern Conference Gauntlet and how tough it's going to be for teams in the Eastern Conference, right? You know I'm a Knicks fan. You know I'm an NBA fan. I'm a basketball fan first, right? So when I talk that talk, it's basketball talk. It's not going to be hype. Who has the prettiest uniforms? Who has the best crowd? Who does the best dunks? It's not about that. It's going to be about the X's and O's on the floor, roster construction, and things like that. 19 comment. NYC is in the building. For Shizzers in the building. Salute. So I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound as I'm coming in for a soft landing, and I'm not. The Eastern Conference is going to be tough. Y'all hear me? The Eastern Conference is going to be tough. I'm going to lay it out on one of these spreadsheets. I'm going to lay out what I think is going to be the finishing order of the Eastern Conference. Right? Right? And so, Jay, you asking about Paul? Hey, I'm definitely getting to that. I'm definitely going to get to that, man. We're going to talk about Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Indiana, Cleveland, and Orlando. We're definitely going to talk about them in depth, right? I'm going to talk about them in depth, right? I'm not going to beat around the bush just because they're not my team, or some of those teams are not my team. I'm a Knicks fan, but I'm going to talk about those teams in depth briefly. Well, and not in depth briefly, but in depth. And then that way you'll know why I say this Eastern Conference is going to be a gauntlet on every night. Will Salkins in the building. Salute. So I'm going to pull up a resource here. I'm going to pull up ESPN. I generally don't like to listen to ESPN talk because it's more entertainment than sports, it seems like. I'm not a fan of a lot of that stuff, but that's my preference. And I'm not gonna try to sway you one way or the other on that, on how you feel. But let me see here. Okay. I'm going to find a space where I thought I had one. I thought I had a thing here, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is list the Eastern Conference from bottom to top. And I know you may not agree with me, but guys and gals, but I gave this some thought. And I want you to rock with me just for a little bit to hear me out. And then once you hear me out on it, just let me know what you think. Right? Just let me know what you think. Let me move this up a little bit. All right. So I don't feel comfortable predicting wins and losses for every team. Right? I don't feel comfortable predicting wins and losses for every team. Right? But what I will do though is to predict where they will finish. And y'all tell me, and we'll chop it up about that. So let me do this. I'm gonna do in the South, it's Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, Miami, Orlando. That Midwest is Detroit, Indiana, Milwaukee, Chicago, and there's one other team, Detroit, Indiana, Milwaukee. Cleveland. Okay. Right. And then in our division is Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Toronto. Okay. All right. So let me get all the font on the same page. Let me do a font. A font that looks good on the internet. No, that's too. I'm just gonna pick Arial. Right. I'm gonna pick a background color that's easy on the eyes. I'm gonna do that gray. And then I'm gonna do the top 6. Change their background a little bit to a color. I want to do a green for them. So I'm going to do a light green for those. And then for the play-in teams, we'll do some shade of light yellow. And then for the non-playoff teams, we'll do some type of light red. Right. Ready, set, go, basically, is what I'm saying for that. Right. All right, let me move this up some too. All right, I'm gonna share this with everybody. Salute everybody. Yo, Aldo SL is in the building. Okay. Wiz is in the building. Salute. Miguel P. Salute, man. I see you. I see it. I see you. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yeah, man. I see a Brooklyn Nets fan in here. That's good. Shout out to Brooklyn, man. I think y'all are gonna. Dripmore is in the building. Hotline Bling is in the building. Salute, man. So we have a Brooklyn Nets fan in the building. That's awesome. I appreciate you for being here, bro. Appreciate that. Appreciate you coming through, rocking with us. Especially if you're talking about like that real basketball talk. We're gonna talk some real basketball stuff, right? So, and I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised how much respect I have for Brooklyn this season. So, Mega is in the building. The reason why I want to do this, everybody, the reason why I want to do this is because I legit want to let everybody know that this season is not going to be a cakewalk for the Knicks, right? It's going to be difficult for everybody. It's going to be difficult for every team this year, right? It's going to be difficult for every team. It's going to be difficult for Boston. It's going to be difficult for the Knicks. The Sixers, nobody is going to have it easy, right? Yeah, y'all. Yeah, so I'm going to start out with letting you know who I think is the worst team in the Eastern Conference, and that one should be easy. I think we all know that the Washington Wizards, Washington is the worst team in the Eastern Conference, and it's not because they play. It's not because they're not trying. Let me put it that way. It's not for a lack of effort. It's more so that at some point, you know, they're rebuilding, and they're going to take that rebuilding approach, right? Washington is going to be a competitive team. You're not just going to be able to walk all over them, but they're not going to have enough horses in order to compete all season long. They do have a young and up-and-coming superstar in Bilal Coulibaly. They have a young up-and-coming guy, Bilal Coulibaly. And I'm not saying that I know everything about everything, but there are certain guys in the NBA that I saw them early and I knew they would be special. Giannis is one. When I saw him when I saw him in his rookie season, I saw that he had at least one thing that the NBA couldn't stop. And I figured if he added to that, then he could be something special. Now, there are guys that I missed. I didn't see Jokic coming. Honestly, I didn't even think Joel Embiid was going to be good. Right? I thought Joel Embiid was going to be all right. I didn't think he was going to be good. I thought Joel Embiid was going to be like a 14-6 guy, maybe. And that was then when Philadelphia was ruining young guys, right? Y'all remember that. Y'all know. And right now it sounds ludicrous for me to say I thought Embiid was going to be 14-6 guy, maybe a journeyman by now. But at the time that I thought that, they also had Jahlil Okafor. They had Nerlens Noel. They had Rashawn Holmes. They had Dario Saric. They had a lot of guys. And so it would have been easy for you to, in that moment, it would have been easy for you to assume that Philadelphia would not understand how to develop young players, especially after what happened with Markelle Fultz. Right? So with that said, I think Washington is going to be the worst team in our conference. And it's because they're young and have a long ways to go. I think Toronto is also going to be a team that struggles, right? I think they're going to be a team that struggles because you can't just trade away everybody, bring in new bodies, and think it's going to just click overnight. I think Toronto is going to look like the Eastern Conference's Utah Jazz, where you have a bunch of young guys out there running around all night. Some nights guys are going to put up excellent numbers. Other nights they're going to look bizarre. They're going to look strange. Right? I also think Chicago is going to struggle, but I don't know how much. I don't know how much Chicago is going to struggle. In these three spots here, it's going to be tough, right? So I have Detroit here making a jump, but I don't know how much of a jump that they can make, seeing that their roster is basically set. They have a new coach, right? I have Brooklyn here at 10. I think Brooklyn has a young stud in Cam Thomas. If they can figure out what to do with Cam Thomas, I think Brooklyn's going to make some noise. I don't know how much noise that they're going to make. We'll see. I have Chicago struggling also because they don't have an identity. I think Chicago doesn't know what they're going to be. At some point, they're going to have to blow this thing up. At some point, they're going to have to make a move, right? And what move is it going to be? Right? I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but I have Miami here at 6. I have a hunch that this is going to be a Jimmy Butler year. I have a hunch that this is going to be a Jimmy Butler year. Right? I have Philly here. I have Philadelphia here at 5. At some point, the press conference can't matter anymore. You got to get these dudes on the court and they got to play. I have Indiana. I'm sorry. I have Milwaukee. Indiana. Cleveland with their new coach. Miami, Indiana. And where? Milwaukee. I know what y'all are asking, right? Y'all going to ask me, like, where is Orlando? I have Orlando 8. I just don't think that Orlando is going to be able to overcome the lack of playmaking. They've got to address the playmaking. They've got to. I have Atlanta. And yes, if you heard me all summer, you know that I am high on the Charlotte Hornets. Right? If you heard me speak most of the summer, you know I'm high on the Charlotte Hornets, right? So that leaves the top teams in the Eastern Conference, right? And out of respect for the NBA champ, I'm going to list Boston number 1 and New York number 2. I'm going to respect the champ in the preseason, right? In the preseason, I'm going to respect the champ. Right? So this is my list of what I think the Eastern Conference is going to look like. If y'all can see that, I hope you can see that. I hope y'all can see that. I want to make this a little bit bigger, but my thing with this list is I'm not doing this list to throw shade at anybody or any team. I want everybody to understand how tough it's going to be for Boston to win 60 games, or the Knicks to win 60 games, or for Brooklyn, Detroit, Charlotte to make that jump, how difficult it's going to be to go from, at the bottom of the Eastern Conference to make a reasonable and respectable jump. It's going to be difficult for them. So if you talk to a Chicago Bulls fan, if you talk to a Pistons fan, a Nets fan, or a Hornets fan, and they say anything like, yeah, we're going to be in the top 6, they don't know. Either they know something we don't know, or they have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea how difficult it is to build a winning team. Right? They have no idea how difficult it is to go from being a cellar dweller, so to speak. And no disrespect, because, the Knicks were there at one point, too. The Celtics used to be there, as a matter of fact. You know what? Let me do this. Just going to make the font a little bit smaller so it'll fit. I don't like that either. Yeah. Yeah, Kerry Cox says flip Philly and Milwaukee. Nah. No, we can no. And the reason why I say that is because don't go by just superstars, right? The fans, if you're a fan of Philly, if you're a fan of Indiana, if you're a fan of Atlanta, if you're a fan of say Detroit, if you're a fan of Brooklyn, if you're a fan of Charlotte, you know how difficult it is to win with 1.5 superstars. Right? Say for instance, if you're Brooklyn and you know Cam Thomas is a baller, how difficult is it going to be every night for Cam Thomas to come out and lead his team against the rest of the Atlantic Division, whereas Cam Thomas and some other guys that are looking to establish themselves? Like, we know Cam Thomas is a bucket. We know Cade Cunningham is a great player. Right? We know that. We know Trae Young is a great player, right? But it's not just about great players, bro. It's not just about that. Right? Atlanta legit lost quality talent when they traded away DeJounte Murray. And if y'all remember what Atlanta looked like in the play-in, when they depended on Trae Young, they got blown out the gym. They got legit. They shouldn't even have played. That's how bad, that's how awful, pitiful Atlanta looked when Trae Young came back to take over that team instead of letting that team be run by DeJounte Murray and them playing a team game. That team looked awful. It was a disgrace for the second year in a row in Atlanta, with Atlanta. And I'm not saying Trae Young is a bad player. I'm saying that Atlanta has an identity crisis. And from a Knicks perspective, right? From a Knicks perspective, what you should watch out for. If you're a Knicks fan, the things that you should watch out for is the teams that are looking to come up. This group of teams right here, 6 through 11, those are the teams that the Knicks have to be careful of, right? Because as Knicks fans, we're looking at Boston, right? We're looking at Boston as a team that we need to knock off because we have something to prove. But surprise, we played them 4 times, right? We may play them more than that. We don't know. In-season tournament, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We don't know how many times we're going to play Boston, right? But even if you play Boston 5 times, right? Even if you play Boston 5 times and you lose to Boston 5 times, there are 77 more games for you to play. Right? Say you lose to Philadelphia and Boston all 10 times you play them collectively, right? There's still 72 other games for you to play. Now, the likelihood of us losing to Boston and Philly, losing every matchup to Boston, is slim. But what I'm saying to you as a Knicks fan is that we should take the approach that we should take one game at a time. Right? One game at a time. One game at a time. Right? These games here, 6 through 11, these teams here, 6 through 11, they all have something to prove. Right? We have something to prove. They have something to prove also. Orlando doesn't want to be the 8 seed. Cleveland doesn't want to be the 7 seed. Miami doesn't want to be the 6 seed, right? Charlotte, Brooklyn, Detroit all want to get in the play-in, right? Chicago, even though they added talent, bro, they didn't add quality pieces, right? They added pieces that they think might fit, right? What is Josh Giddey going to look like as a full-time point guard next to Kobe White? What does a Josh Giddey, Kobe White backcourt look like to y'all? Does that scare you off just hearing it? Nah. Right? Is there Patrick Williams going to take a step forward this year? Probably not. Chicago is the 12th seed, and they'll probably get in that 12th spot and stay there all year. Toronto's always hurt. Always. Toronto's always hurt. Whatever it is that they do in Toronto, the guys in Toronto stay hurt. Washington has a bunch of raw, talented individuals that don't know how to play with each other yet. Right? And honestly, Washington has Cooper Flag written all over them. Washington has Cooper Flag written all over them. Washington is a young, raw, talented, athletic team. They drafted their guards this year and last year. Bub Carrington, Kashawn George, Bilal Coulibaly is a wing player. They drafted Alex Sarr. This is definitely going to be a tank season for Washington, even though they have a lot of athleticism. They have a lot of athleticism. They're gathering pieces, though. The pieces that they gathered in the offseason, the pieces that Washington gathered in the offseason, you know those are trade pieces. You know Valanciunas is only there to get them a draft pick in return. You know that Malcolm Brogdon is only there to get them a draft pick in return. We know that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Corey Kispert get traded. Johnny Davis get traded. They added pieces, and you know they're going to flip them for whatever they can get. They're rebuilding. The Atlantas of the world, the Chicagos, I think they're spinning their wheels. They don't know what they're doing. They're probably going to wind up blowing something up. They'll probably wind up making major trades and just going in the tank. That's what Chicago and Atlanta look like they're doing. Detroit is probably going to continue to let their young players play and develop. Kenny Atkinson, not Kenny Atkinson, but the former Bickerstaff is probably going to develop their bigs and their wing players so that Cade can get better. They'll take a major step. I don't see them being better than Brooklyn, Charlotte. I think they're going to take steps. The Cam Thomas kid is a certified bucket getter. I would not be surprised to see Cam Thomas average 25, 26 a game. Orlando, they got to get some backcourt help. They've got to get backcourt help. All right. So with all of that said, okay. With all of that said, let me put my thing here in the chat. Okay. With all that said, Boston's a really good team. The Knicks are a really, really, really good team. Indiana is a really good team. Milwaukee is a really good team. I think that is your Eastern Conference Final Four. I'm not as high on Philadelphia as others because I think the Tyrese Maxey thing is a thing. Is Tyrese Maxey a star in this league? Or is he a bucket getter? And there's nothing wrong with being a bucket getter. There's nothing wrong with being a bucket getter. Right? Is Tyrese Maxey a franchise player or is he a bucket getter? There's nothing wrong with being a scorer in this league. Plenty of scorers in this league came and were phenomenal scorers. Right? They just didn't have that championship DNA. David Parker's in the building. Salute. Mike Miller is in the building. Salute. Talking about the good guys, right? Let's talk about the good guys. The more I see the Knicks play, the more it reveals itself to me that the Knicks are going to be a team that is not going to be respected. An offensive team that can get defensive stops is not going to be a team that's respected. Right? Give an example of a team kind of built in that way. The Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are a team that has an offensive center. They have a 6'7" power forward, weak side rim protector, hyper athlete that knows how to make winning plays. The Knicks do also. The Denver Nuggets have a scoring machine at point guard that knows how to play with his big man. So do the Knicks. The Denver Nuggets, when they were a championship team, had a very good 3-and-D shooting guard on their roster when they were championship level. And the Knicks have that right now. The Denver Nuggets had a Bruce Brown on their team that could come in and be the Swiss Army knife for that championship team, and the Knicks have that with Josh Hart. But when you talk about what team is the best team in the Western Conference, the Denver Nuggets are not necessarily the team that's talked about right now, today. The conversation starts with the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? right? Hey, salute, bro. Salute, salute, salute. The conversation starts with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then there's a group of 4 in that next tier: Minnesota, Dallas, Denver. It's a 15. There was a 15. I don't know if it's. I don't know how you guys feel about Sacramento or Houston. Let's say it's 3 in that next tier. Let's say it's 3 in that next tier. Hey, salute, bro. Salute, salute. Let's say it's 3 in that tier, and then you have a group after that: Sacramento, both LA teams, Golden State. You know, some teams that are looking to make some noise. Some teams that are looking to make some noise. Mike Miller says the team, the best coach with the right players will come out to win. I'm not going to guess how well the Knicks will play. No judging until after about 30 games. Right. And based on your comment, what I'm thinking is you're saying no no rock solid statement until after about 30 games. Like, you're not going to say this is it until you see about 30 games. And I respect that. Right? That's reasonable. Right? No definitive statements for Mike Miller until about 30 games. In my mind, what I'm going to say is, based on the combination of players, I think there are natural fits with this group offensively. And defensively, I think there are even more natural fits and less of a load to carry defensively for guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. Now, will they have to perform at a high level? Yes. But will they be the only wing defender on their team like in years past? No. We have a combination of wing players, right? Josh Hart is not a slouch defensively when he guards people his size, right? Mikal Bridges is a disruptor. OG Anunoby is a disruptor. What does that mean for the Karl Anthony Towns of the world, the Jalen Brunsons of the world? It means the same thing it normally means. They are scorers, facilitators. On the offensive end, those two carry the load. On the defensive end, the 3 aforementioned carry the load. And you get that balance all season long, and it keeps people healthy and fresh. It keeps people healthy and fresh. I saw the offense the Knicks ran the other night. The offense the Knicks ran the other night, right? If it has names to it and all that stuff, I don't want to basically just consider it a perpetual motion offense, right? The ball basically keeps moving, basically. Basically, the ball keeps moving. What you'll get is Jalen Brunson up top, the wings up top looking to do baseline cuts and 45 cuts. If it's not there, the screener comes up top, sets the screen. The defense attacks in their way, however they want to attack the screen and roll on that particular trip down the floor. They may blitz it. They may drop, right? They may ice it, right? They may, whatever it is, whatever they do, because the defense is not going to run the same the same type of approach every time down floor. They're not just gonna get in drop coverage every time and let Cat and Jalen Brunson shoot threes, right? Sometimes the defense will blitz it. Sometimes they'll ice it, basically force it to one side of the floor. Sometimes they'll get in drop, depending on what the personnel looks like. And so, as a Knicks diversified offense, what you look to do is take advantage of what you read the defense. What are they doing? Are they sending their big up top to force the ball handler farther out on the floor? Right? If they do, fine. If they do, your screener will move adjacent to that, and whatever big man was foolish enough to force the ball way out there, and you see it. Y'all know what I'm talking about when the big goes all the way out and he reaches at the thing and then try to recover. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all seen it before. If they do that, then Cat will quickly get out of the way and let that same one that took that risk, that took that chance, let that one person, let that Valanciunas guard Jalen Brunson one-on-one on the island. Right? Comment said, Cat, don't do that. Bro, Cat did that the other night. Cat did that the other night. That's why Jalen Brunson shot that three in Valanciunas' face. That's one of the plays that I was talking about. I spoke to that play specifically, but I wanted to use it as an example. Valanciunas did that the other night. He ran out there to try to force Jalen Brunson to back up, but Jalen Brunson didn't back up, man. Right? So, yeah. A comment wilding in the middle of that. He said, stop against Washington. We got to let facts be facts, bro. It happened. It happened. It happened. It happened, bro. Let's just let the facts be the facts, man. We'll let the facts be the facts on that one. So, but yeah, so when you're looking at what the Knicks are going to do, the Knicks are going to look like a finesse team. And for those that are anti-finesse, I think they're going to call the Knicks soft. Right? They're going to call the Knicks soft. If that's how you feel, I won't argue with it. Yeah. DSJ is in the building. Salute. So for those that was probably say, and I don't have a beef with that, man. I love Knicks fans, bro. Y'all know y'all my people, right? Y'all know y'all my people. Right? Y'all know y'all my people. Right? My point of contention, my consternation is, what does it matter if the Knicks win a championship? If the Knicks win a championship, does it matter if they play rugged or if they played finesse? Does it matter if the Knicks win a championship? Or are we going to point to it and say, we won, but I didn't like it? I'm going to say, however they win, we'll take it. However they win, we'll take it. However it is. We'll take it. Now, the Eastern Conference, though, the Eastern Conference is built in a way where you have to accept skill over will, right? Skill over will is one of those debates that have been raging for years, right? Would you rather have somebody with no skills but have the heart of a lion that never gives up? Or would you rather have someone supremely skilled and talented that only wants to do their job? That has been the debate forever, right? Do you prefer? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Sorry about that, y'all. Man, a spider. How a spider get in here? That was crazy. Anyways, would you rather have someone with the heart of a lion that may be less skilled that will leave it out there on the floor? Or would you prefer someone supremely talented that only wants to do their job? Right? Look, here's an example. Would you prefer a bunch of Josh Harts, right? Would you prefer a bunch of Josh Harts or a bunch of Jason Tatums? Now, mind you, if you get a bunch of Jason Tatums, all those gritty rebounds, all those gritty defensive plays, right? You're not going to get that. All those chase down blocks, right? All that diving on the floor, you ain't going to get that with Jason Tatum. I'm telling you right now. You ain't going to get that. It's just not how it works, right? But if you have a bunch of Josh Harts, you're not going to get those beautiful 50-point games where somebody knocks down 10 3-pointers or gets scorching hot, right? You're not going to get those beautiful scoring efforts against the best defender in the league, right? You're not going to get that 47-point game against Lou Dort. You're not going to get that. Right? So it comes down to identity of the team. Do you want a finesse team? Do you want a gritty team? Do you want a combination of both? Generally, in the NBA, a team tries to have a combination of both. But generally, a team's best player is not their gritty player. Right? The Golden State Warriors needed Draymond Green to win in order to win championships. But Steph Curry led that team. Don't get it twisted. Draymond talks a lot, and he was their emotional leader, right? And he did a lot of gritty stuff, right? He did a lot of gritty stuff. But you don't win championships with 15 Draymond Greens, and you don't win championships with 15 Steph Currys. You just don't. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. So the Knicks are going to look a little bit different. We're not going to be rough and tumble. We're not going to be, Tim's and whatever. Right? We're not going to be that. The Knicks are going to look different. And this Eastern Conference is built in a way that you have to have skill over will. At this time, I'm not saying forever. I'm not saying forever. What I'm saying at this time, you need guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot, and a few guys that can defend the guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot. That's what you need to win championships in the NBA. Boston set the blueprint. Boston said, listen, if you get 5 guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot, put 2 great defenders on the floor, you can win a championship. And guess what? They did. Derek White is a great defender. Drew Holiday is a good defender. Jaylen Brown is a good defender. Jason Tatum is above average to good defender. Porzingis is a good shot blocker. Al Horford is a great communicator, right? The Knicks had Jalen Brunson is not a defender. No matter what we say, Jalen Brunson is not a defender. I know we want to say Jalen Brunson is everything to everybody. He's a great scorer. He's a smart defender, but he's not a good defender, right? He knows where to be at times, but if De'Aaron Fox gets on the heater against us, Jalen Brunson not walking out there like, no, I got him. Jalen Brunson ain't doing that, right? Jalen Brunson's not doing that. I don't expect him to. We don't expect him to. As a matter of fact, we probably don't want him to. We don't want him to do that. We know who Jalen Brunson is, right? We know who Jalen Brunson is, right? We have guys for that. We have a Josh Hart to slow down De'Aaron Fox. We have a Mikal Bridges to slow down De'Aaron Fox, right? We have those guys for those roles. We have those guys for those roles. And so the Knicks will probably look more like the Celtics or the Denver Nuggets. And this is a departure from what we're used to. But welcome to what is the new championship normal. Right? Welcome to the new championship normal. That's what it is. That's what it is. This is what we look like now. You have an all-star at center, all-star caliber at the 3 or 4, whatever OG Anunoby plays. All-star caliber at the 2 or 3, whatever Mikal Bridges plays, right? All-star caliber at point guard, no doubt. Jalen Brunson's an all-star. You know your bench depth is going to be fantastic. You know your bench depth is going to be fantastic. You know Deuce is a steady player. You know Cameron Payne is a steady player. You know Precious is a steady player, right? And then you have Kolick and others. You don't know what you're going to get from them. You don't know what you're going to get from Kolick. You don't know what you're going to get from Landry Shamet in our system, right? You know Landry Shamet is a scorer. You know Landry Shamet is a scorer. We don't know exactly what that'll look like with us. Right? We don't know yet. I'm not saying Landry Shamet won't be a quality NBA player with us. I think the opposite. I think he's going to be a fantastic NBA player with us. I think he's going to be a fantastic piece with the Knicks because it's going to be low expectations and high reward. Whatever we get from Landry Shamet is going to be a plus. It's like the waiter bringing a bottle of wine to your table. Compliments from the chef. It's on the house. Whatever we get from Landry Shamet is basically what we were looking to get from Alec Burks and Bogdanovich last season. And if we get a consistent Think about that, right? Think about the combination of Alec Burks and Bogdanovich last year, right? Alec Burks was cooking at first. I'm sorry. Alec Burks was cooking at first. Then he got hurt with the shoulder. Then Bogey, who struggled at first, started cooking. And then he got hurt. And then when he got hurt, Alec Burks came back and was cooking too. But the thing is, we didn't have both of them cooking at the same time. What if Landry Shamet is cooking out the gate? And when I mean cook, I mean reasonably. I'm talking about knock down open shots. I'm talking about 9 points a game. Right? About 9 points a game, something like that. 10 points a game. 11 points. Whatever he gives us. I don't know what he'll give us from a night-to-night basis. By the end of the season, when we look at counting stats, right? How many points did he score? Right? Basically, what we need from Landry Shamet is about 153 pointers. Landry Shamet, can you give us about 153 pointers? Landry Shamet, can you give us 1.45 threes a game? Can you give us a 3-pointer and a half every game? Landry Shamet for 82 games. Can you give us about a 3.5? Can you go go 1.5 in your 4 threes a game? Landry Shamet, 1 3 per quarter, finish the game with a 3.5 per game to get to 153s. Deuce McBride, can you give us 153s made threes this season? I know Cat's going to do it. I know Brunson is going to do it. I think Bridges can do it. I think OG Anunoby can do it. Right? If you have 5 people making 153s, that's 753s. Right? See how the conversation looks different? See how the conversation sounds different when you break it down into reasonable chunks? Can Landry Shamet give us a 3.5 per game? Can Deuce give us a 3.5 per game? I hear you, Mike. I hear you. Yeah, everybody. So help us get to our goal of 4,000 subs by the end of the year. Man, we appreciate y'all, man. We're gonna do the members only show in the morning about 9 o'clock. So members, get ready to have all your questions and stuff ready. Ribby. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Ribby, what's going on, bro? All right, y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Friday night. I'm gonna get out of here so that we can be ready to do the members only show in about 7 hours or so. Peace, y'all.